I grew up in a friendly neighborhood with a bunch of other kids. There was a group of 6 boys, me being one of them, who were hanging around each other every single day. When the weather was nice, when the sun was shining, and it wasn't too hot, the group of this size doubled or tripled. All kids came from 3 neighboring streets and covered an age range from 6 to 14. The majority of us were German, but there have been kids from Italy, Turkey, and the Balkan region as well. Our favorite activity was playing football at the streets. I mean, soccer for the US guys here. But that's not entirely true. Our favorite playground wasn't the streets, it was a small green space wedged in between the streets. What you see here on the upper left is my parents' house. And the trees indicate what a public park is today. Historically, this was the local cemetery. When I was young, it has been put out of service. I remember excavating machines coming and opening the tombs and moving them to a new cemetery some kilometers away. And I remember that we still found some bones here and there while playing later on. So we actually didn't play street football, we played cemetery football. The amazing thing is it never was a cemetery for us. It simply was the best place to play. It was much safer than the streets and much closer than the next real football field. And it had some nice features like a natural stone wall, which gave us a border, and 100-year-old oak trees, which were our goalposts. So this was our reality, our playground and our game. And everybody accepted this reality. The younger kids, as well as the older ones, the core of the community, as well as the occasional members, boys and girls, Germans, Turks, and everybody else. Everybody simply wanted to be part of the game. And through this, we created our common reality by oak trees, which were goalposts, and by dead body parts, which didn't play a role at all. Dave Gray, author of the great book Game Storming, calls this a model world. As kids, we created our model world. We were rethinking the playground and replaced it through something new, which became our new reality, the playground. So the common model world is a synonym for a shared understanding of meaning, purpose, and rules of the game. It's the basis for play and work for almost every sort of collaboration. So I invite you to take part in the common exercise. It won't take long and it won't hurt, so there's no cemetery involved here, I promise. The only tools we need is pen and paper. So for the sake of simplicity, let's do something which we did as kids. Let's imagine the forefinger is our pen. So you don't need a real pen, you just need your forefinger with a piece of imagination. And the lower arm of the other side is your paper. So equip yourself with pen and paper. Okay, super. So keep it for a second. The question which comes is something like, what's a cat? Except it isn't about a cat, it's about something more abstract. If you hear the question, write down the first thing that comes to your mind, the very first association, just one word or two. You won't have much time anyhow because I will count down 3, 2, 1 immediately. Okay, so equip yourself with pen and paper, ready? So here comes the question. What's a value? Write down the answer. 3, 2, 1, ready. Okay, so can you see your writing on the magic paper? So super, admire it. Keep it and don't show it to your neighbor. It's a secret. We will come back to it in 2 minutes. The question which I have asked you, I have thousands of people during the course of the last 5 years. And the starting point for all this asking was a project I had in India in 2009. The photo shows Delhi's World Habitat Center where our project took place. There, I sat together with a bunch of IT directors from the Indian government. These women and men were extremely smart. They all had graduated in natural science or informatics, most of them even with a double degree in India and the UK or the US, so super smart people and super friendly as well. My mission was to facilitate the user-friendly redesign of their e-government system, the system which is handling their visa applications. So when we were discussing the redesign, the user-friendly redesign of their visa application system, the word value came up. So I immediately stood up, went to the whiteboard, drew a box and wrote value in it. And then I made another box and labeled it citizen, and I connected the two boxes. And to express my painting, to explain it, I said, the Indian citizens will appreciate both the comfortable process as a reliable and convenient procedure, as well as the value of the visa as a legal document which grants them the right to travel and to visit close relatives. The Indian IT directors looked at me, blank-faced, and after an endless second they said, "That's not a value." That's not a value, they repeated. The value of the visa is 90 or 180 days. What? The value of the visa, they echoed, is 90 or 180 days. The value of the visa is the field entry in the data field validity in the database. Wow. And to this point of time, I had already done dozens of interdisciplinary projects, even either as a consultant or manager, in many different countries. So in every project, I could observe the phenomenon of interdisciplinary communication. So I was well aware of the communication challenge. And nevertheless, I couldn't prevent walking right into this trap of misunderstanding. And that was the very moment, this impressive and scary moment, when I decided to start the value question experiment and dig deeper in the world of language, understanding, and how this creates different realities. So what was your answer? Was your answer something, let's come back to your magic paper, yeah? What is your answer? Is it something like freedom, love, family, happiness, or some other aspect related to life? Or was your answer more in the nerdy league of my Indian IT friends? Did you say, well, use token, data, or integer? Or was your answer rather related to money and business, means value for you, income, profit, and revenue? I already said that I asked this question thousands of times, and in each case I could put the answer in one of the three categories. And first of all, I did this more or less out of curiosity because the range of answers was simply so amazing. Later, I undertook some serious qualitative research. And when I did this, I clustered the answers from professional profiles, and I sorted out situational as well as intercultural effects. When I did this, I had the observation that we develop different professional profiles. There's a clear understanding, a different understanding of professional language, of everyday language in our professional background. So, of course, we all know what is baffle gap and professional jargon and so on. Everybody knows this here. But what the value question experiment reveals is different. It reveals that we all, once we have started to learn and work in a particular profession, develop a particular understanding of everyday language which is special. We understand terms like value in different ways, and it reveals that we develop this professional bias very quickly. If we compare the development from bachelor business students to master business students and senior managers, we see this very clearly. So if I ask a bachelor student about a value, the answer is more or less related to life. But if I ask master students only 2 or 3 years later, and I have asked hundreds of them, there's clearly a business orientation in their understanding of everyday language. And if I ask a senior manager, well, they more or less understand every term in a business sense. This understanding of everyday language of this particular group is different from the understanding of everyday language from other professional groups, for example, senior software developers. Yeah? And we see how this opens. Of course, I did not only investigate the term value, I also analyzed the understanding of other terms like platform, service, performance, terms which have a broad field of understandings. These fields of understandings express the individual realities of people. And these individual realities are grounded on core beliefs, assumptions, and core values. And these assumptions, beliefs, and values lead to a certain perception of the environment. And this perception of the environment is different for everybody here. Particularly, it's different between professional groups. This is what the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer meant when he said, despite the same environment, we all live in different worlds. So software developers and business managers clearly live in different worlds. Some people would even say that they are aliens from different planets. And the same is true for many other professional groups, even for those which we consider similar from our distant position. The problem is that if we would like to reach something which is significant, we have to collaborate. Each significant challenge is simply too big for one single head. So we need to bring people together, people from different disciplines, people with their diverse mindsets. In everyday business, this is already challenging enough. But usually we are able to cope with it because it mainly takes time. So over the months and years, we are able to connect to corporate culture. We are able to understand how our colleagues are ticking. We are able to experiment, practice, try things out, and eventually develop routines. But what if routines are disturbed? For example, by a project. Projects are different from what people are normally doing. Projects are temporary. Projects bring people together who typically work not together. Projects involve uncertainty and even the risk to fail. And all this together puts a certain amount of stress to people and project. And this stress makes it difficult for us to overcome the borders, the fences of our individual model worlds and create some communality. Being aware of this major challenge, I, together with Karen Schmidt, who is also here today, founded Over the Fence. Over the Fence is a project initiative which is open source or for people in projects who would like to make their project life easier. And the first tool we invented was the project Canvas. The development of this tool has been directly driven by the Indian encounter and the related question, how can we help a diverse group of people to set the basis for creating a common model world, for creating a shared understanding regarding their future project. In this regard, we undertook a lot of empirical research, more than 2 years. Firstly, we worked in the value question tradition. We asked people about their understanding of words which are set terms in the world of project management. For example, we asked, what's a scope? Or what's a stakeholder? And the purpose of this was to develop natural project language. We wanted to create a list of terms which reflect project management theory, but is understandable for everybody. So for example, we sorted out the terms scope and stakeholder as too specific. So as a first thing, we developed natural project language. Secondly, we asked people to share their stories they associate with a project. And the purpose of this was to develop a common metaphor for a project, a metaphor which helps to bridge individual realities and create a shared picture. As it turned out, this widely used metaphor is a journey through the unknown. So we took this journey metaphor, visualized it, and made this the basis for communication. So each journey starts with a purpose. Before you can start your journey, you need some money and other resources. Once you are equipped and feel ready, you can eventually set sail and leave the shore. On your journey, you are exposed to environmental conditions, as well as to uncertainties, risks, as well as chances. As time goes by, you may reach certain milestones, small islands where you can rest and celebrate. And if you reach your journey, you can hand over what you carried along. And if you got this right, this will put a sunny smile on the face of the receiver. This journey picture becomes the underlying motto of the project Canvas. We divided it into start, middle, and end of the journey, put the purpose on top and the timeline to the bottom. Eventually, we received 11 building blocks that describe every project. These 11 building blocks are reflecting project management theory, and they are described in natural language and founded on the common metaphor, which is understandable for most people. Since its introduction in 2014, many people have used the project Canvas. Not only business people and project managers, but also artists, teachers, social activists, engineers, and many more. Those people gave us feedback about their experience. They shared their Canvas stories with us. And they said that what worked and what is to be improved, and even helped us in translating the tool. So personally, I was really overwhelmed by the positive resonance, which could be summarized by the quote that, with the project Canvas, developing a shared understanding is kinderleicht. So kinderleicht is a German term like you'd guess. And it's combining basically child and easy. And it's normally used like you would use easy peasy. Even a kid can do it. But on a second thought, there's a second meaning in the term. And the second meaning is only a kid can do it. It's only easy if you're a kid. If you are a pure adult, if you take yourself too seriously, if you've lost your wandering imagination, you won't be able to do it. And this brings us back to the cemetery and childhood. At that time, it was easy to create a common model world. We did this naturally, without much speaking, just through our imagination and common will. But as adults, if we are grown up, if we are educated, developed, formed, involved, matured, we have lost this natural ability. Now, it's not easy at all to create a common model world, particularly not if it's about an interdisciplinary project in a highly professional context. But if you've not lost the kid in you, if you come with a certain amount of imagination, wonder, and playfulness, you can make it. And the Canvas can even help you making this kinderleicht. So it's a free tool. Use it, share it, and have much fun at work. Thank you very much.